Hey all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spider. So this summer I've been doing a lot of rehousing of Poecilotheria species, which is good because I've had a lot of folks asking me how my Poecilotheria species are doing. Used to do a lot more videos on them in the past because I had a lot of them I was growing up. But because most of them are adults now and in their permanent enclosures, I haven't had much to do. So it's been kind of nice to do some of these rehousings and get these guys back out there. This episode we'll be taking a look at Poecilotheria subfusca Highland, or the ivory ornamental. This large arboreal is from Sri Lanka. They can get to be supposedly 6 inches or more as females. They are very, very shy, but obviously like any Poecilotheria species, they are a very quick spider and they pack a very venomous bite. As you'll see in this video, however, their first reaction usually is not to throw up a threat posture and bite. It is to run and hide or to use their natural camouflage. So that's something to keep in mind for people that hear Poecilotheria and are immediately terrified of them. So enough of me talking. Let's take a look at a rehousing of Poecilotheria subfusca Highland and see how she's doing. All right, we're about to rehouse my Poecilotheria subfusca Highland. We did the lowland a couple weeks ago. This one's in desperate need of a rehousing as well. So we're going to do things a little reverse order. I'm going to talk about what I'm putting her in here. Then we're going to talk about what she was in before, show some footage of that, and then we'll get the spider out. So this here is one of the primal cage enclosures. They are 12 by 8 by 8, one of the magnetic sliding top ones. I like these for my arboreals. And what we have here is Biodude substrate. I gave her quite a few inches because I found that my pokies will do a bit of burrowing. Even as adults, they'll dig up some of the dirt. And hopefully what we have here is a cork bark round with kind of an opening in the back. I used the same thing for my subfusca lowland, and that one basically went back here. She's done a little digging. She's made some dirt curtains webbed around here, made a nice little base, and then sometimes I catch her right out on the side if she wants to hang out and be arboreal, or on the side of the cork bark. And we also have some plastic leaves in here because unfortunately I picked a larger piece of cork bark. I didn't want to jam some kind of fake plant in there. We have the sphagnum moss and leaf litter, and she will be getting a water dish. I want to make that very clear. So that will be her adult her adult home for the time being. This is a species between the highland and the lowland. There's been a lot of debate which ones are bigger, which one's smaller. One species is supposed to be kind of a smaller Poecilotheria. I thought it was the lowland, but a lot of people told me they have lowlands that are like 6, almost 7 inches or so. This one's also kind of small. Both of mine are pretty small. So one thing that could have contributed to that unfortunately there's been a lot of crossbreeding between the highland and lowland. They are kept apart in the hobby just in case they become separate species, but I think there's been a lot of accidental breeding, so who knows what we have and if they are pure. All right, so what she's in over here is one of the large food storage containers. I get these off Amazon. I usually buy them in packages of 4. It's 5.2 liters or 1.4 gallons. I love these for juvenile arboreals or fossorial species. And I'll show some video here of her getting moved into this one. She was a little recalcitrant last time, didn't really want to go in, was kind of hiding. She's a very, very shy spider. But as you can see in the footage here, she did give us a little wave, which I thought was pretty adorable. And I had to include it in this clip because it is a cute clip. But what we're going to do now is try to get her from this into this one over here. Now, just a heads up, while I'm opening this up now as slings, I usually keep my really small Poecilotheria slings in larger dram vials. So if you get one and you want to limit the number of rehousings, because I know people are kind of afraid of Poecilotheria, unfortunately, they want to avoid doing extra rehousings, then start it in 32-ounce deli cup, give it some room to burrow, give it a cork bark tube or cork bark hide, put some sphagnum moss behind it so it feels secure, and that will give you usually several molts before you have to rehouse. So now's the point where we get a little quiet. We're going to use our handy dandy Simply Limeade container. I love these because of the almost square base. They almost fit perfectly in the corner of these. They don't give the spider any area to get out. And what's going to happen is the spider, unfortunately, has burrowed under here. This one has never really stopped the burrowing. You can see how the substrate in here is all higher where it's dug up and packed it in. So what we're going to do is move this. Oh, she's way down there. We kind of came up with a game plan before we started. Oh, she's in here. So what we're going to do, hopefully we can get some footage of her. I'm working on a Poecilotheria video where I want to show off all of my Poecilotheria that I have now, and she's the only one I don't have any current footage of. So what we're going to do is poke behind here, which is not going to work. There she is. All right. This is the one last time. If we watched the video, it took me a little while. So what I'm going to do is try to get this out. Nope, it's not going to work. I don't know if you can. Nope, you can't, because she's now buried right in there. I don't know if you can see her a little bit. Unfortunately, she's all stressed. I hate when that happens, but there she is right there. You can see it's a much darker species than many of the other Poecilotheria, and this is why I really want to get footage of her to compare her to the Highland or the lowland species that was also darker but not quite as dark as these. And this is something that needs to be mentioned. I think a lot of people prepare when they're rehousing pokies, they hear about how fast they are, they can bolt. The trick is to not get them where they're bolting, and a lot of them, their first defense is to hide. If they're in a burrow, they're going to scrunch all up, try to hide so you can't dig them out of the burrow. If they're out on a piece of cork bark, usually what they'll do is use their natural camouflage. They'll flatten out and try to hide. Kind of like when you're a little kid and you close your eyes and you pretend like you're invisible. They'll do that trick. All right. Wow. I can't even, unfortunately, because of the size, I may tip it over. Nope. All right, let's pull a couple of these leaves out of here. She knows she's hidden. Right in there. Nice end. Look at that. There we go. And this one needs to be fattened up. When I saw she molted last, she was one of the skinniest pokies I'd ever seen. I was actually shocked. As you can use the dirt. I'm gonna have to put a link to the last time we did it her because she was just as much of a pain in the butt. She did not want to leave. There we go. All right. Oh my Lord. Look at that. I don't know if she's showing up, and I'll put the thing in here so you can see the back, but very, very dark for a pokey. And these are ones I have to admit I ignored for quite some time because they just, I don't know, I'd seen some pictures of them, they just didn't look as striking as the, say, the Poecilotheria vittata or the Poecilotheria regalis that are very striking in their black with white and some gray on them. These guys have more muted tones, but my Lord, when you see them, they're just amazing spiders. So hopefully what we're going to do is cover the back, get the lid off. Is it that way to righty-tighty? Righty-loosey. I'm going to try and get it. We'll do it there. We're going to lose the top. Sometimes this works. Oh, there we go. No, we want to go that way. Oh. So I don't know if you want to, hold on. I'm going to get the top ready if you want to get a shot of her, because this is what it's all about. I don't like disturbing the spiders for photo shoots. I have to get a little closer. So I'm going to try to get some shots of her here, because I do not like disturbing the spiders for photo shoots. So this is my spot to kind of get some footage of them without disturbing them unnecessarily. So there she is climbing around. I'm holding the lid here just in case. And as I talk a little bit more, we'll, there she's doing the classic pokey stretch out in the corner. So I will keep this here so we can get some shots of her. So these guys have been a little more slow growing than some of my other Poecilotheria species. And looking at how big she is, she's probably 5.5 inches or so, and I've had her for quite some time. I believe it's been 4 years now. And usually by that point, my Pokies are about 7 inches, even more. My Regalis easily hit, I think, 5 inches in the first year. So they've been growing a little more slowly. They are a little more shy than some of my other Poecilotheria species. They kind of stuck to the old burrowing much longer than some of the other Pokies I have. A lot of them will kind of abandon that behavior and you'll see them out a lot more. This one stays hidden in her burrow about 90% of the time. Every once in a while I'd come in the morning and catch her out and about, but mostly she was hidden. Same thing with the other Poecilotheria subfusca that I have, the Highland, or Lowland. She did the same thing. It was much more secretive. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the growth rate. They eat well though. Just know these guys will take down usually pretty large prey items compared to their size. Most of my Pokies are voracious eaters. As far as temperatures are concerned, I know there's a lot out there that says you need to keep them warmer. I've had good experience raising the majority of my Pokies in temperatures that weren't particularly high. So in the wintertime here, it is about 73 degrees most days. Every once in a while, it'll drop a little bit to the 60s because the heat can't keep up if it gets super cold outside, and then it picks back up again. Summertime, the temperatures in here have been 80 to 85 most on and off all summer. So some good temperatures during the summer. I haven't noticed a big difference in the growth rate either period. And again, as you can see by the behavior here, they're very shy spiders. Their first reaction, I would say even their second reaction, isn't to stand and fight. Now, if you were to corner one, if you have somebody that's insecure in their husbandry and they're rehousing and they, trap one in a corner or prod too much or aggravate it, yes, you could have a situation where it throw up a threat posture. Most of mine would much rather either bolt into their hides or flatten out and use their natural camouflage to hide. There we go, Poecilotheria subfusca Highland, ivory ornamental, looking beautiful in this new enclosure. Hopefully we'll be able to, she'll settle in quickly because I really do want to fatten her up some more. Sadly, that is actually somewhat fattened up compared to what she looked like after her last molt, and we want to see that booty get a little bit bigger. So again, I love doing Poecilotheria rehousings because I think for a lot of folks that are on the fence about keeping them, it shows that they're not necessarily the high-strung demons that people make them out to be. That's one of the issues I've really had over the years with keepers and Poecilotheria species is a lot has been made about the speed and the potent venom. Now, that's not to say we should completely disregard that speed and that potent venom, because obviously if you make a mistake with this species or any of the Poecilotheria species, the consequences could be much more severe than saying making the same mistake with a Grammostola species or an Aphonopelma species. So that needs to be kept in mind. However, I have found that mine are rather peaceful spiders and very, very shy. They'd much rather bolt and hide or again, use that amazing camouflage if they're disturbed. And as you can see in this video here, when you have to dig them up, their reaction is not to bolt out of there, but is to actually flatten down, scrunch all up in that stress pose and try to hide so that nobody can hopefully see them, which is really sad. I hate doing it because I feel bad for them, but as you can see with this video here, they're very easy to manage if you stay calm and plan ahead. So that will do it for this one. As always, if you guys liked it enough to subscribe, you can click the little circle right up in there. I'll be putting 2 more videos over here. I'll probably put the other Poecilotheria subfusca Lowland video we just did up here so people can check them out and compare them. If you take the time to comment, know that I will take the time to respond. It just take me a little while because I tend to get quite a few comments. That'll do it for this one, guys. As always, stay safe. We'll catch you all next time.